So 2016 may have been the year of political turmoil, but it was also the year of the vegan. As you can see in this article by The Telegraph in 2016, the number of vegans in Britain rose by 360%. 360%, that's a huge number. That's like if the country of Britain, the population became the country of America. So if you haven't been living under a rock for the past few years, you probably noticed articles about switching to almond milk, maybe you've stumbled across meat substitutes in the supermarket, or maybe one of your friends decided to take a challenge to go plant-based. My point is, veganism is a growing movement, but why? Land degradation, water depletion, heart disease, diabetes, animal cruelty. Scientists have been trying to come up with innovative solutions to combat these issues for decades. New ideas like cultured farming and renewable energy have been popularly considered as revolutionary. Innovation is often seen as technological advancements, but to me, innovation is ideas that can bring change. Plant-based eating is often overlooked and not seen as something that can bring much change, but on average, vegans save 45 pounds of grain, 1,100 gallons of water, 30 square foot of forested land, and 1 animal per day. So, where do you get your protein? But aren't plants sentient beings too? How do you miss chicken? These are all questions that vegans get asked, and I'm going to answer them. So, lentils, beans, rice, spinach, and many other delicious foods are huge sources of protein. I have no idea why so many people think that meat is the only source of protein. I'm also confused as to why so many people think that calcium is only found in milk. You know, like, milk, it might be due to the rapid advertising of milk, it does a body good, and the propaganda, but in fact, kale and spinach contain more calcium than milk does. And also, cows on factory farms are injected with dangerous hormones such as RBGH, recombinant bovine growth hormone, and this hormone has been proven to cause cancer. So, what if you're craving something delicious? Do you miss chicken? I feel as though these questions are asked because people don't believe they could be vegan because of these cravings, but in fact, if you use resources like the internet to veganize your food, then you'll be fine. Like, the truth is that there are so many options as a vegan. Like, just in this past week, I've had burgers, brownies, chocolate, and cake just from searching up recipes online and shopping at Giant. So how can veganism help to sustain the planet? An article by the NDRC said, over the past 50 years, the average global temperature has increased at the fastest rate in recorded history. Despite this, some people are not as anxious. Okay. So, greenhouse gas emissions are the leading cause of global warming. According to Chris Heiner, the managing editor of the Georgetown Environmental Law Review, livestock and their byproducts account for at least 32,000 million tons of carbon dioxide per year, or 51% of all greenhouse gas emissions. This means that all of transportation, being ships, cars, planes, trucks, all contribute to less greenhouse gas emissions than animal agriculture. However, global warming is not the only problem facing our world today. In the meat industry, many animals are overfed to be bigger for production, and this wastes thousands of pounds of grain. According to the UN Environment Programme, stabilizing the current meat production per capita by reducing meat consumption in the industrialized world and restraining it worldwide to a 2000 level of 34.7 kg per capita in 2050 would free an estimated 400 million tons of cereal per year. According to the Humane Society International, this means that if we reduce the meat we consume, we could reduce world hunger significantly. Raising animals for consumption now uses 30% of the Earth's landmass. According to the Smithsonian Institute, 7 football fields are bulldozed every minute to create more room for farmed animals and the crops that feed them. If we cut down on meat and dairy, we could save so much land, water, animals, and grain. Okay, but what about my health? The power of plant-based eating is monumental. Colin Campbell and Thomas Campbell conducted a study in 2005 called the China Study. And this book was based on a study that took place in China, the various counties. And by taking like rates of death and by checking blood, the goal of the study was to try and find a connection between chronic illnesses such as heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and the consumption of animal products. And by checking death rates and by taking blood, they found that the counties that consumed less animal products were less likely to die of a chronic illness. This means that not consuming dairy or meat could potentially save you from a chronic illness like heart disease. Oh. Okay, so why go vegan? I decided to go vegan when my sister showed me a speech by Gary Yourofsky where he explained the horrors of factory farming. He showed footage of a slaughterhouse, and I was devastated when I saw how these animals were being treated. They were being beaten, cut open, and thrown onto machines, and I did not want to believe it. Gary Yourofsky, when he was showing this footage, he said something that really stuck with me. He said, "If it's not good enough for your eyes, why is it good enough for your stomach?" I realized that by consuming and purchasing these by consuming and purchasing these products, I was supporting this industry, and because of it was an economic demand was why it was being supplied. So therefore, by buying these products, I was supporting this cruel industry. So cows on factory farms are inseminated on what the dairy industry calls a rape rack and milked vigorously. After their calves are into the world, they get taken away from them to face death or the same fate. Male chicks are systematically killed because they are useless to the dairy industry. We have to do something, even if it is a small change in the way that we lead our lives. So TEDxYouth is all about young people spreading innovative ideas and making a change. Young people, we often feel like we don't have the power or influence or tools to make a change, but going vegan is something you can do to make a change. Whether you cut out meat and dairy completely or limit your consumption, a small change can make all the difference. Educate yourselves and others, get inspired, and make a change.